Hello. Oh wow, this is quite bright light. Hello. Hi there. How are you guys? Hi. Hi, Peter. Hello. It's actually slightly different than news. We did have a lot of stuff to do today with Vasil, and I am not feeling very well today. Nothing's happening. I'm okay. I'm just like kind of very bleh today, and I don't know what to do about it because I just feel like literally laying down and not doing anything. But there is a ton of news that came out since yesterday. No, just not emotional, neither illness. It's just like sometimes I wake up and I feel pretty crappy. I have these like allergy things, as I've mentioned before, and I feel like every time they flare up, I'm just like, you know, kind of tired. So I'm just very like tired today. And that's about it. Hi, Lauren. Also, Cindy's been acting up, I think, because John's gone. So, hi, Christina. Hi, Tammy. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I think Tammy. Hi, Tammy. I think Cindy's been acting up because John is gone, and I'm just kind of, just a little tired. Oh, I need to like get my schedule back on track and get it together. Hi, Weber. I need to get my schedule back on track and get it together and sort of like come up with a list of events and things that I need to be doing and like a proper schedule because it's kind of hard to have a proper schedule right now, especially now that we do have to do a lot of like organizational things for Vasil, like lawyers and stuff like that. Hi, Vasil. So we want to sit down and sort of like figure out a schedule. And I need to also sit down with myself. Thank you, Jeanette. Hi. Hi there. I also need to sit down by myself and figure out my schedule because I'm just like all over the place recently. Hello. Oh, I didn't even realize I wasn't wearing glasses, and wow, I can still read what's happening on the screen. Herojem Slava John. So yeah, what do I do? I'm a UX UI designer by profession. I was designing apps before the war in Ukraine started. Then, yeah, I am making sure that he puts his toilet seat down. We had a whole conversation about it. um, but yeah, I'm a UX UI designer, which means that thank you, Juju, which means that I design apps and websites, mostly apps. And I did that before the war started. When the war started, I was doing a lot of reporting on everything that was happening and trying to provide context, historical and like current events to kind of explain how it happens and stuff like that. Yeah, I also never believed in love at first sight, and then met my husband. Uh, well, that was actually not love at first sight at all. That was a lot of work up to that, but yeah. But what was I talking about? I am like so out of it today. What was I saying? Why do I always forget what I was saying mid sentence? Because there is like a troll flying in who's like, I want to marry you. God, the amount of proposals that I've received in lives is like crazy. Yes, so app designer. So I design apps and websites for a living. I did that before the war started. When the war started, I was trying to provide context, and then I decided to do it full time. So that's what I've been doing full time for now. And at some point, of course, I'm going to come back to working. And at some point, of course, I'm going to come back to doing what I did before because I do like my job. I do like my career. I do like what I'm doing. You better tell John that you have options now. I have. I told him a million times that I get proposed to daily, which is kind of nice. And he's like, where were all of these people 3 years ago? Because we've been married for 3 years. So this is his joke comeback to that. He says, why weren't they there 3 years ago? And and I'm, just like, well, they're here now. John doesn't design websites. John he's learning how to code now actually, but he works with lighting and electrical. So, oh no, not Arvosis. John isn't my husband. He works with lighting and electrical for like shows and stuff like that. So right now he's on tour with RuPaul. And that's where he's at. Also, ouch! I have hurt myself now. With this is my like terrible. One of my ticks and like one of my terrible things that I do is like I pick on my skin. So that's a fun fact about me. I'm sure people have noticed it. I do try to not do that on lives because I know that it's annoying and also it's just not something I should be doing to begin with. But yeah, but that's what I do. Hi, Zach. I thought you went to bed. How are you doing? Let's do this. Let's see. Let's test out your Ukrainian language before you go to sleep. Добрий вечір.
Добрий.
Hi guys, this is Zach. I don't know if you know Zach, but Zach is an ordinary American citizen who just decided one day to learn Ukrainian and somehow sounds Ukrainian as hell. And I'm suspicious. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna go to bed, but I fell asleep earlier and took a nap, and then I woke up, and now I'm not tired. And I tried, and it didn't work. So I cleaned my fish tank and washed my dishes, and got back on TikTok, and here you are.
And here I am, also not sleeping. You're in Ohio, so you're like what, an hour behind or 2 hours behind?
No, I'm the same time as New York. We're the last state who has your time.
Really? That's cool. Well, then you are up late too. See, I always envy people who are on here, and it's like 3 a.m. for me, and it's midnight for them.
Yes. Yeah, well, the last couple nights I've stayed up till like 4 a.m. and I realize I'm on at the same time as all of my friends. So
yeah, I've been living in Ukrainian time since February 24th, 100%, which is not very good.
It's not very healthy for the Eastern Standard Time.
No, really, not at all. At least it's like a little better now. But I used to wait for my dad to wake up, and I would stay on like very, very, very late because you know.
Is everyone of your family there? I know you have okay.
Every single. Well, actually, I guess that's not true anymore because my aunt Anastasia, she left to London. Okay. She was able, because she's a professor at a university, she teaches animation. And they had like a program, an exchange, well, not an exchange, I guess you can do an exchange program right now, but basically like a half exchange program where Cardiff University basically offered to take English educated professors from her school to go teach at Cardiff. And like the funny thing is that she's the only English educated professor that I like know of in general because she went to Central St. Martin, so she lucked out and like she moved there.
Yeah, I've heard of quite a few universities who are offering for Ukrainian scholars, kind of like residencies for a year or two.
Yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, that's really what she did. She was hoping that Central St. Martin's would do that because that's the school where she went, but Cardiff it is. And she said that she went to visit Wales and it was really nice, but she has never been before. So she was like, I don't know, I'm more used to London.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah. And how long have you been in the United States?
11 years.
11 years. Okay, that explains it, because your English is just so perfect.
I speak English since I was 4. But that's like, see, I
Oh.
feel like you're my American counterpart. Like, you sound very Ukrainian, you know? I feel like
And
people.
this is why, exactly, that's why I'm saying it in the most normal way possible, because people are like, oh, you speak English so good. Like, you know, how it's kind of like an insult. But I mean it in a very sincere way, because I was just on Vasil's live earlier today, and I was just hearing you, and you were like, you know, explaining words to him, that it was so interesting to hear how deep you know the meaning of some words. It was words I wasn't even thinking about.
It's like, actually, it's interesting because that's something that I was thinking about earlier. Like, so I speak English since I was 4 years old, right? Like, my parents are both have economics degrees, and they were like, okay, well, this is not going to go well for Ukraine because things were kind of like looking down after Soviet Union, I want to say, with all of our kind of politicians who weren't really trying to change anything. And so they made it like a point that I speak English perfectly. So I was watching like Nickelodeon in English, and they were buying me books in English. And I had this like English tutor who was an English lady from London. And she was basically like my babysitter. I would spend days with her, and she like didn't speak a lick of Ukrainian. So that's how I learned English. And I was like thinking about it the other day because when I was teaching people, I do like these little short videos of teaching people Ukrainian. And I'm like, okay, if I were an American, how could I explain to myself what sounds like without standing there and being like, like, you know? So I was like, yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I didn't understand how well I understood English until I started.
Yeah, exactly.
Like...
Yeah, sometimes it's such a deep knowledge that it's been with you for so long. And I've spoken Russian, and I've only spoken Ukrainian for 2 years.
That's crazy.
It is great. I studied Russian though since I was 16, so about 13 years now. I didn't even speak Ukrainian in Ukraine, and when I came back to the United States, I really missed Ukraine. I met some Ukrainian bloggers on YouTube who lived in Ohio, and I just started speaking, and then it just clicked. I never studied it or anything.
It was Nina Ukraine, right? She was the one who was like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Nina Ukraine, my absolute inspiration for Ukrainian, kind of like starting to create content in Ukrainian. She, to me, it's her whole thing, and I've just seen her whole journey over 3 years of starting. When I first messaged her on Instagram, she had like, 18,000 subscribers. Now it's like almost 200,000. It's just like really nice to see her really develop Ukrainian content. She's inspirational.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, her whole like shindig basically is like how it's Ukrainian content for Ukrainians to know how foreigners see Ukrainians. So it's like a very niche-y thing.
And she's filled that niche. It's just so it's so wonderful. And the thing about your channel that I absolutely love, it's like information in English for Americans about Ukraine, which I only know of 2, maybe 3 channels that do that.
Really?
It's yours that I see a lot on my For You page, and it's also the American who goes live every day. He's news.
John Aravosis?
Yes, John. He's the only other person that I can sit that's not a news organization. That I can just sit and watch and learn. Because that's how I follow some of the news as well. I mean, I can watch Ukrainian news, but I really am interested in how it is translated to the American audience. So
it's like, that's very interesting too, because I know a couple more creators. Not all of them go live though with news. Most of them just record videos about, oh my gosh, New York City needs to chill the hell out. I don't understand why there are like garbage trucks at midnight. Like, why? Why are there garbage trucks at midnight? Come at like 10 a.m. when everybody's at work.
That's a good question. I heard that they only come at night though because of traffic issues.
They do, but it's like, I don't want to hear you. Like, I'm at home. Uh, but yeah, so sorry, that's my little nightly rant about things that I hate about New York. I have a very love-hate relationship with it, just like everyone else who lives in New York. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, there are a lot more creators in that. Like Mila, she used to go live with news every evening. She's pretty big, but she has taken a social media break recently. And she posts videos still, but she doesn't really go live that often.
Is Mila the one who also does it in English, but is she currently in Ukraine? She has like kind of
No, that's Zena Solo.
Okay, I've seen her as well. That was the third channel. I haven't seen Mila. I'll have to subscribe.
Mila Alien, yeah, she has been only doing videos recently, and then there are like a million Ukrainian creators, but it depends on like what you're looking for, because some of them do mostly like cultural things, or so I've been talking. I talked about it before, right? Where like I'm not a journalist. None of us are journalists, right? And I find that I've been on lives of Ukrainian creators before who are just like, as in like Ukrainian people, right? Like a regular Ukrainian person, just like I am, and they will answer questions they'll answer questions, right? And they provide zero context when they answer questions. And I am like, I really, really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because this is wrong. Like I was in a live, I think like a month and a half ago, where like I really, really try to make sure that my super unjournalistic self does the best that I can to like kind of be as, as informative as possible. But there was a girl, and she just like, her profile just like blew up because she's Ukrainian, like most of us in the beginning of of the war, to be fair, because people were curious about, information. And someone asked her if Belarus is much closer to Russian culture than Ukraine is, and she just said, "Yeah." And I was like, and I was sitting there waiting, like there needs to be an explanation to that, right? And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, okay, well, no, no, not really. So there is like a sea of people, and I find it very interesting because I don't even know how I got onto this tangent. Sorry, I'm super ADHD, but like I think I was heading there with you saying that you like to listen to news from Ukrainian people. And I was like, I do too, but I think there is so much like oversaturation of Ukrainian content now that we as creators need to be super careful with like what we do and how we do it, because I've been seeing so many just like people that have zero interest in educating anybody. They're just like answering questions and they're not really answering them right. And I'm like, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that, because then I have like people coming into my lives and being like, I don't know, Belarus is part of Russia. They've always been. And I'm like, what? Where did you get that from?
Yes. I mean, there's so much of that. Oh, I'm hearing you again.
What happened? Did I not? Oh, Maruba, UK. Hello? Zach? Oh, I hope he comes back. That's also like the first time ever that I've heard him speak English, so that's so interesting. I'm gonna re-invite him. Hi, Mariupol. Oh no! I just saw him walk back in though, so. Yeah, Mila is doing posts teaching. I wasn't talking about Mila. Mila is doing posts. I was just saying that Mila doesn't do lives anymore. Yeah, I think I invited you again. You did. Wait, one sec. Yeah, you should have an invite hanging there, Zach. But yeah, no, Mila does post teaching. I wasn't. Mila does. Zena Solo did. I was just saying that in general, there's so many. Like I've been noticing. Hi Kay. I've been noticing that there's like a lot. It's just what I was trying to say by this is like I'm so tired today, is that there is now so much information available, and I also do prefer to hear information from real people. but we also gotta take information from real people, even such as myself, with a grain of salt, because none of us are professional journalists, right? So all of us are bound to make mistakes, and all of us are bound to accidentally spread misinformation. All of us are bound to not to not to like not know the proper way of delivery of information so that it doesn't get like misconstrued, right? But yeah, so that's what that with it. I was just going on a massive tangent. Zach, you said that you were back, but I don't. I sent you an invite. So if you'd like to go back up, you have the invite. Yeah, Mila is keeps absolutely glitching out. I totally understand your point. There is no multi-guest showing. Oh, here. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I saw that Mila was teaching. So sorry.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello, welcome back.
Sorry, it totally glitched out on the invite page, and it was sending me your voice 3 times in a row, the same sentence.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it just like freaked out, and I couldn't push accept or decline, and I just had to close the app.
That's so weird. Yeah, I've had that like happen sometimes when you have multi-guest. It like goes like roar.
And can you see me? That's my other question.
No, I can only hear you.
Is that on purpose, or am I
No,
also?
you're the one. So if you go into like, I think it's over here, like wherever you have the guest request, you can press that, and then you'll have an option to change whether you want just voice or voice and video. But also, while that actually people are letting me know that Mila, the girl that I mentioned earlier, she's teaching Ukrainian now on an app called Clio.
Oh, I've never heard of Clio.
I haven't either, but I saw. Hello.
Okay, now we can see me. Now I can sit normally. I was so confused.
Yes.
Hello.
So hello again, Zach. Everybody, hello again to Zach.
Wow, I've never heard of Clio. I was assuming it was. I guess it's not like Duolingo then. It's kind of like a teacher teaches student app.
Yeah, I'm very curious how it works, because I'm gonna check it out for like because of Mila, but I am but yeah, I've never heard of it either.
Okay, yeah, neither have I. Oh gosh, I have reading glasses now. I got LASIK in Ukraine. It worked wonderfully. And it was only like $600.
Oh yeah.
And then I come to the United States evacuated because of COVID, and I stare at my computer for 2 years, and now I can't see anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like I want to get LASIK at some point, but I heard that you should get LASIK at the point at which you want to rest your eyes. And I work in front of a computer like all day, every day. My astigmatism is about minus 3.75. And I feel like we should just do that until I can't see anymore, and then we can fix it.
Yeah. I will say it did open. The sky is taller without my glasses, because I had glasses since I was like, I don't know, 10.
Oh wow.
And so when I walked out of the building, my peripheral was clear, and I felt like I was walking after surgery, but under anesthesia surgery, because I just didn't realize how tall the sky was. It was a very interesting feeling.
Yeah, that's actually, I've heard my grandmother got LASIK too, and she hasn't seen out of her one eye like almost at all for the last 40 years. And she was like, wow, people have texture. She's like, I really don't like myself at this age. Grandma.
So you said that your dog's father is somewhere else, which I'm assuming is your husband?
Yes, my dog's father is my husband.
Because he said, "Oh, your dad said," and I said, "I'm not sure how to ask that question."
Yeah.
The dog.
The dog's dad is my husband, yes. We created her together. I'm kidding. Actually, no. I literally got a dog and then let him know. So, and now the dog likes him more, and it's a tragedy in my life. But yeah, he's touring with RuPaul's Drag Race because he's doing lighting and electric for them.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like a step forward in his career, but he's also learning how to code and is planning on changing his career. And now he's like, I don't know what to do because this is like a big thing.
You want to hear a very interesting universe moment. My cousin was a lighting and staging engineer for, I think, 15 years, went all over the world, learned to code, and became a coder.
Yeah, well, he is just one of his like childhood best friends is a programmer, and he used to work at Google, and he lives with three other programmers who also work at all of these like platforms, and one of them works for Meta, and they go climbing together, and now he knows all of these Meta mates, and now he's considering wanting to work for Meta. And I'm like, I'm sorry if anybody ever refers to you as a Meta mate, I'm going straight to wherever they divorce people. So that's about it.
MetaMate, hey, but MetaMakes make Meta money, so that's
Yeah, that's true. But also, Meta money is like what? If you're an entry level engineer, I guess you make more than everybody else around you, but then you are stuck there for 10 years and there's no
Very
career growth.
very true.
I mean, to be fair, whatever makes them happy, you know? Just not.
And
Just,
so you're a UX UI designer.
Mhm.
Now, does that mean I worked some time in IT and I did have experience talking to UX UI designers?
Mhm.
Did you start that career in Ukraine or did you
No.
develop it in the United States?
So I am 28 this August. I moved here either 11 or 12 years ago. I literally, yeah.
I'm 28 this August. When's your
Ooh,
birthday?
what, August 7th.
Mine's August 5th.
Oh my God, you're like 2 days older than me. Ah, someone's older than me.
Literally 2 days. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 11 years ago. So that's pretty. You wouldn't have a developed UX UI career, is what you're saying, when you moved here at 17.
No, no. I moved here when I was like 17 or 16 or something like that, and I went to college actually for psychology. I wanted to be a therapist until I realized that I don't want to be a therapist. I just like research, and psychology is like I'm very interested at it. I have a good feel for like psychological processes, but that's not something I want to do as a career. And then I accidentally took an art class because I just needed a requirement, and it was a design class. And the professor was like, "Yeah, so how many years have you been doing this?" And I'm like, "This is my first time opening Illustrator in my life." and so she was like, she basically recommended that I check out more art classes and stuff like that. And so I went into design, and I graduated with design and psychology. But because I did that, I got thrown into like UX and UI world. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, all of my classmates are doing these cool things where they're like, designing books and branding and like all of this creative stuff. And I'm just like working on startups with bros. But then I graduated and I was like 3 years into like a portfolio experience while everyone else was like looking for a job. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it.
UX UI is not that bad, turns out. Wow.
Yeah, I do like Alexander is asking if I like it. I do like it because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer to begin with, because I do tend to like, I'm a very kind of like, I'm a lot as a person, and I feel like there is this thing where I like a lot of things, and all of them are like big, as in like they're important for me. So it's important for me to have like logic in my life, but it's also important for me to have chaos and like creativity. And I think that UX UI combines that a lot, because I did consider switching to and going to law school at some point because I do really like that. But now, see, I'm combining all of this crap online in a TikTok platform. Yay!
I can see you being a lawyer, just listening, just from one experience today, listening to you explain, we'll just call it toilet gate for now. Listening to you argue, in a good sense, argue why toilet gate should have not happened with Wesley. It was wonderfully orated and argued. So, brava.
Yeah. I see. If I had $1 for every time that someone says, "I could see you being a lawyer," anytime they have a misunderstanding, a debate, or an argument with me. Actually, at some point, I was like seeing a lawyer. Oh, was that Sin? Hello? Oh. She doesn't bark really, so when she barks it sounds like a cough, so I never know if she's like struggling or if she's like or if she's reacting to noises. So I was just trying to make sure she's okay. But yeah. I was seeing a lawyer at some point, and the lawyer told me you should be a lawyer, and I was like, okay, that's, you know what, this is better than law school. I'm done. That's cool.
But you enjoy your job, and that is the most important thing.
I do. I think it's good. It does get repetitive sometimes, and you do get like to the point where you just want to bang your head on the desk, but then you figure it out and you're okay again. What do you do?
I just graduated with a master's in translation, so
cool.
I'm a linguist,
Oh, awesome.
and I hope to be working in project management for language companies or Meta. They do a lot of language projects. Obviously, they're all over the world. So that would be like an ultimate goal.
May I suggest that Google definitely needs people to translate things and manage their translation projects. So
listen, I have issues with Google, specifically with Ukrainian translation. I volunteer about 6 hours a week translating. It's the information from the front line that goes to like the State Department, but it's all volunteer for some reason. I wish it were way cooler and like, oh my gosh, it's such a big thing. But I volunteer 6 hours a week, and we translate these very difficult documents about, how many troops are in this separated motorized rifle brigade of the 69th Combined Armies, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I'm rifling through it, and it always comes down to the list of villages and cities that have suffered over the past 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which is very sad to read. However, it's also infuriating when I'll just put the list into Google Translate because I'm not going to hand type lists that are already, available. And what they do is all the g, well, in Ukrainian are G's in English, and all of the E's are I's instead of Y's. And so if you have a city like Mykolaiv, I'm translating from Ukrainian, Mykolaiv, which is Mykolaiv. In Ukrainian on Google Translate, it says Nikolaev.
I know.
And it's just in Ukrainian. And I don't get it.
And same with Severodonetsk. Severodonetsk. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Or Bohorodichna, it's Bogorodichnoye.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have an issue to pick with Google, and I think that one of their founders may have been Russian.
Yeah, so, I mean, they just sort of like that's kind of like part of the Russification, right? Where it's part of the Russification where Russia just made it so that Russian was the language to which everything automatically translated names in Ukrainian to, and we're still like kind of fighting it. It's like one of the issues that I have with Google is that when I type something in Ukrainian, like I will be like, "Повна історія про Катерину II," okay?
Mhm.
It comes up as полная история про Екатерину II. And did I fucking write that in Russian? No, I did not. I wrote that in Ukrainian. I do not want to have any websites that .ru there. I don't want to have anything that has Russian language in it. I typed it in freaking Ukrainian for a freaking reason. Please give me results in Ukrainian.
Yes. Yes, I completely agree. Here, I think Alexander Frost is writing, same with Popasna. Or yeah, they always say Popasnaya,
Yeah.
but it's Popasna. Yeah, it's very
Popasna.
interesting. I have an old map, speaking of that. I have a very old map of the Soviet Union on my wall. Maybe I can switch. I don't know how to switch. I don't know this. Okay. And even Lviv is written Lvov. I was so shocked. This map is from like 1977.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you have just every city, Zhytomyr, the Dnistro River, the Dnepro?
Dnipro, yeah.
Actually,
It should be Dnipro.
Dnipro. Just so bad. It's so terrible. Rovno instead of Rivne.
Yeah, it pisses me off so much. I was having an argument with a Ukrainian. I don't know. It's not an argument. It was rather a debate because she wasn't like malicious or anything, right? But she was displaying like the mindset that is problematic within the like Soviet population of Ukrainians. So she is from Odessa with two S's, okay? Or she's from Mykolaiv, and her husband is from Odessa, and she's a psychology professor here in the United States, and she's immigrated here. I don't even know when, but she said like I think it's from former USSR, right? And so she was saying that she had come to terms with Nikolaev being Mykolaiv because she's from Nikolaev, right? But okay, you're not. It was always Mykolaiv. It's just that in the Soviet Union, you said Nikolaev because you were speaking Russian more than you were speaking Ukrainian. And like you didn't need to write it in Ukrainian anywhere because Russification was a thing. But if you look at the official documentation, it was always Mykolaiv. It was never Nikolaev. And she says, like, that's okay, but Odessa with one S is never going to happen in my house, right? And she explains it because it was created by the decree of Catherine II, and it's created, it's named after Odysseus, the god, right? But here's the thing.
Is there one S?
With two S's. But so in Bulgaria, for instance, there is a literal city called Odysseus, and it's with one S, although the Greek god has two S's in it, right? Because in Bulgarian language, they don't use double S. So in translation to Bulgarian, it's Odysseus, not Odessos, right? And in Ukrainian, Odessa also always had one S, one, but it's just in Soviet Union because everybody had to speak Russian anyway. Everybody wrote Odessa. And then two, Catherine II never created Odessa. Catherine wrote a decree basically allowing free entry into Odessa that wasn't even called Odessa at the time. The Cossacks created Odessa as a city, and Cossacks spoke Ukrainian. And those are the people that she actually demolished and annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
So saying like that, oh, this is never going to happen to me. I agree with like the, with the need to de-Russify Ukraine, but this is simply just not right because Odessa was created for this, and that reason. And it's like, no, you're repeating the history that Russification taught you. You're not willing to learn what actually happened, and then you're imposing that belief as like a justification of what happened, right? And then after I've sent her like a literal history lesson, and I was like, hey, I do lives with the Ukrainian historian every Saturday. If you're interested, I can ask her and she can give you a more detailed explanation. She goes, no, that's fine. But have you ever been to Odessa? There is like a very specific mentality there, and there is like a whole different culture. And they don't even call it Russian. They call it Odessan. And I'm like, yeah, okay, here is the thing. she was like, oh, you can't wipe that out by a decree. So she was trying to say that they spoke that the whole time before even the creation of Odessa, right? And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I'm from Lviv. We do have Lvivska Hovirka, which is practically Ukrainian combined with Polish, because
Yeah.
Poland. Are you cooking something?
You have a
It's
Vasily.
Zvorилось.
Oh! Isn't like Zorilo.
Подавайся.
I'm scared. Okay. So no, I forgot. I was making an egg for my dog, and then I jumped on live, and then now it smells really bad, and I was like wondering what happened.
Did he
And
turn it off, or did
No.
he just come to tell you the house was burning
no,
down?
he kindly reminded me that the egg is ready. It's been an hour and a half.
It might be a bit over ready by now.
I think it's a bit over easy. I think it's a little over easy now. It
What are
does.
your opinions on the translation of Ukrainian names into Russian? This always got me. I used to work at a English-speaking Ukrainian government channel called UATV for 3 years.
Mhm.
And we would always, in English, use the Ukrainian name. So if his
Yeah.
name is Volodymyr, his name is Volodymyr. That's it. Goodbye,
Mhm.
good night,
Yeah.
whatever. But we would always say Vladimir Putin,
Mhm.
whereas some Ukrainian editors would say Volodymyr Putin, which sounded weird to me. And the Russian team would say Vladimir Zelensky, which to me also sounded strange. So I'm like,
That's
why would you give Russians that hand up by saying, here, I will literally change my name
yeah.
when I speak your language? To me, that's this
Yeah.
deep-seated
Yes.
colonial
Yes.
mindset.
100%. I absolutely despise that too. Because, like, if your name is Zach, right? Like, you're not going to go to Ukraine and suddenly be like, I don't know, like Zach or something like that, right? Like, you're still going to tell people your
Well-
name is Zach.
Well, this is my first experience with it when I got my
Ukrainian
what's it
ID?
called in English? Ukrainian ID temporary residency. They translated my name as Zachary,
Yes. Yes.
which my name is Zachary, and I was just like, well, you could just put Zachary, and they're like, that's not our name,
Yeah.
Here your name is, Ukrainian Zachary. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll be Zachary. But Zach is the same everywhere. But I just think if I'm in Russia or if I'm speaking Russian and my name is Volodymyr,
I will
in
still be
Ukraine,
Volodymyr. Yeah.
I think my name, Russians can say E. They can also
Yeah.
write it Volodymyr with an
Yeah.
E. I don't understand why it's impossible.
Yeah, but that's because that's colonization, right? Because like they do this collective we where like everything is translatable, but then if they come to Ukraine, they're not Volodymyr, they're still Vladimir. And they insist on
Yes.
being Vladimir. It's just our names that are being translated into Russian. Like if you're Katarina, you'll be Yekaterina. Or like if you're Olena, you'll be Yelena. And it's not, but that's that collective we that got us to where we are, because we are not, it's not a we. It's like today, I have this issue where Russian creators keep saying we need to do this and we need to do that. And I'm like, honey baby, you need to go do whatever the hell it is that you need to do in your country. I am talking about my country and putting you and your people out of it. We don't have a collective goal here. There is we, me, and the rest of Ukrainians, and then there is you and the rest of Russia. It's not a we have to do something about this war. Nah. You gotta go do something about your government, and we gotta go push you out. Like,
Yeah.
Not a collective thing.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, they would love it if everybody was collective. And
Oh, of course. Also, I was gonna say, I also don't agree with the whole Zachary thing. I only know one Zachary in Ukraine, and there is this lovely word called Zakharev, and I would say that he did very much Zakharev when we were friends. So so yeah, I really do not.
Well, I'll give you another funny anecdote. I studied in Russia for 2 years when I was 16 and 19. And when I was 16, I lived in Cheboksary, which is in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of Zak, they called me Zek as a nickname, which means prisoner,
Yeah.
basically. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny?
Aren't Russians so sweet? They just love giving you such lovely nicknames, right? Aren't they such lovely people? It's like, to me, I was seeing a Russian